Hey there, travelers. This week's project is a bit of a detour. We're going to take a break from working on our encampment and fix up our goat encampment. I've gathered some pallets, as you can see, and I am giving finally a very nice upgrade, the Goat Fort Phase 3. So, today we're not going to be able to get too much up. I've gathered all the supplies. I've got a plan. I'm working on the floor right now. The most important thing is to get a dry space for them to sit up off the ground and get up a wall so that it blocks the wind tonight as it gets cold, and then tomorrow I can finish. I have started to cut off some of the slats that were on the bottom. I figure I want as little wood as possible touching the ground, less wood touching, less places for it to start rotting. I could go through and burn all of this and make sure it didn't, but I do hope as our little kingdom and encampment continues to grow, this is actually gonna only need to last for another 2 years. So I figure I'm just gonna eliminate most of this flat area that would be resting on the ground. We're gonna use these in some later projects anyway. And then, as you can see, I've already removed this top board because it was broken, so I got rid of it. We're just gonna take our jigsaw and cut off so that everything is flush with this top board. And this pallet, because it had nice filling, not a lot of area in between, is going to serve as the floor for the new addition to our goat fort. With the floor cut down to size, we can start on the walls next. So I picked out 2 of the sort of, honestly, pallets that were in worse condition. I'm going to try and save some of the better pallets for some other projects that I have in mind, where we want a little more structure. But I wanted to pick out lighter pallets and then reinforce them with some of the other materials that I have for the goat fort. But basically, I cut off most of the slats. At this point, we've got a big stack of these slats. We'll be seeing these again real shortly. Got a lot of projects planned for those. But what we're going to do now is take some siding and put it on. I redid some boards on the deck, some leftover pieces that we had to cut off. So we're going to attach it to the sides in a sort of overlap pattern so that rain can just wash off, and it'll make some really nice walls for this Goat Fort Edition 3. This wall is going to be, if you're facing it, the left wall, but basically in its installed version, it'll sit like this so that this is the front. So we're going to lay this down, take our siding, now we've already, like I said, this has been cut off of another board. So this edge that has already been cut, we're going to end up hiding best we can. So I'm going to lay this down, line up this with the edge of the pallet and the bottom. Now you can use screws, nails, whatever you want. I got a little nail gun here, so I'm just going to tack this board right in. Now once that's securely tacked in, we're going to take the jigsaw and just cut off right here at the edge of the pallet. We'll take this board, place it right on top of here, create that overlapping effect, and we'll have our wall set to go. Now once you've cut off the extra half, we'll just line it right up so that, and overlap it a little bit so that this flap, basically that way it gives the weather a way to sort of drain off and sort of protect it a little, gives it a little extra dimension. Basically we'll just lay it in there, tack it on as well. With both pieces on there, now our pallet wall looks like this. A lot more sturdy. Like I said, it has a little bit of that, more intentioned design look to it. We will go back and paint this when it's finished. I'm not going to be able to paint it for right now. The main goal is to just, get a structure up for them to get out of the elements. But this is a good wall. Let's go now look at the beginning assembly, getting the floor down, putting both of the walls up. So this is the current state of the goat fort. As you can see, there is a bit of a lean. It really comes from me not properly bracing these posts when I put it in. Now, this is the original small goat fort that we cut into the side of this hill here. It's still doing pretty well. We've gone through several roofs because for some reason they like to eat any roof. I would say that they don't approve of, but they just like to eat all of them. But our original structure here, mostly constructed from these magnolia posts, crepe myrtle posts that we put in are pretty good. Like I said, we've had a few roof replacements. This was the second edition that's had a few. It is also made out of pallets, not as well constructed. Now, as you can see, this wall has already been installed and I've got the flooring in there. Let's go around and take a look at that and what we had to do to get where we are and finish putting the new addition together. I've had to move a fair amount of dirt to really build up the back side of this structure and make it where the floor could be level. As you can see, we've got the floor in there. It's pretty good. Now we'll lay some pine straw down over that. We might do some filling in on the back, but what we're going to do next is take our next wall and put it up on the left side. So I've already got this bar in here. It is actually bracing some concrete blocks up under there that I'm using to level it. I think the best thing to do is cut that bar off there at the ground. Let's get that taken care of. So it doesn't look fabulous yet. When I went to get my long 3-inch decking screws, realized I was out. So I'm gonna have to go to the store and pick up some of those tomorrow. For tonight, we've got it tacked in with some shorter screws. I've got the wall braced up with these posts. I ended up moving this pallet on top of this floor pallet to give it a slight height advantage over this. What we're gonna do with our roofing pallet is lay it sideways so that we give some angle and a slope for the weather to, for the elements to run off of. At this point, it's really starting to come together. We're gonna be done for the day. Let them quality test it as it is getting a little darker. Like you see, I've got the roof on. The roof didn't come out all the way, so we'll address this issue, which is not really an issue, but we'll just probably put a board there, something here to make it a little more aesthetic. They are definitely going to try and climb on top of it. The only thing to note, I have attached some 2x4s on this side to increase the angle even more, to give it that slope. So it's not too much of a slope, but it does give it some slope just so that the rain will have a direction to run off of. Overall, like I said, I think I've got it pretty secure for the night. We'll let them see how it goes, and tomorrow we will work on finishing things up, making sure everything's very secure, and beautification. At this point, the newest addition to the goat fort is structurally sound. They've been running on top of it, laying on top of it for a few days. I added this additional sort of weather deterrent here on the front to cover up sort of the unevenness that we had. Everything is screwed in together. We're screwed into the main structure. Everything is really, tight and secure. What we do need to do is finish putting up, covering up the rest of these walls, covering up some of these seams, and making it a little more pleasing to look at. To do that, I've got some leftover live edge stuff that was used for some other projects around the ranch. We're gonna put some of that on here, really beef up the appearance, and maybe even address some of the cosmetic issues on the original fort as well. As you can see, adding the live wood edges makes the third addition to the goat fort really nice looking. It ties it together, gives it some sturdiness, and gives them something to chew on as they strip the bark off. Now, we've got a few more plans to upgrade, a few things to tidy up. Maybe if we can get a hold of some more live wood, put it in a few more places around the fort. But that's going to be it for this edition of upgrading. Now, believe it or not, even though it is 71 degrees right now, it was getting down into the 20s when we started building this just a few days ago. So, as you can see, we've changed outfits. We're getting ready for Carolina Carnage next weekend. Excited to be part of the largest medieval combat tournament in the country. Hopefully we'll see y'all there. Until next time, keep wandering.